two new two new locations, two old faces. Today I am in Pune and Janavi is in Ayodhya. Wow. So we are saying hello to you from various different places in this wild and vast country of ours. And we're talking of all kinds of modern new things. So today what we want to talk about is the reason why or what is happening with startup founders and why they're quitting and starting new. So, Janavi, you shared an article with me, so maybe you can set it up and then maybe we can take it away from there.
Yeah, sure. So recently, the Economic Times had done a survey where they realized most of the founders, especially in the last 12 to 15 months, they have gone for second innings, which is they've started their a different venture, which is in two cases. Either the first one took off very well and they wanted to maybe diversify, or it was some kind of another model that did not fit into the initial startup, or it was because their initial startup did not work out for some reason, and so the founders went for a second inning. Now the amazing part is that there you can see founders like those from Upgrad, which is a booming business right now, right? And you see from companies like Good Glam company, which I don't think many people even heard of, even when it was thriving, right? So you were seeing founders from all over the place, all over the industries going for a second inning, and it is I think it is a very nuanced kind of a situation where either the founders are not finding the right environment in their first company, or if they just want to move on from one identity that they had created from themselves, or it's the investors who are playing a role that the founders not really liking. Because intuitively, the way I would go about it is, if I've started one company, I would definitely take funds from that company to start another product, or increase my product chain, or maybe diversify it into another business. But that's something that founders are not doing at all, and I would
Hmm.
love to get your opinion on this.
I think it's so interesting, right? So, yes, that seems to be the logical step, but let's not forget the human emotions involved here. And there are many examples that come to mind, right? From Sabir Bhatia, who sold Hotmail and then started Arzu, but that's a normal story wherein I'm selling off and then going and starting something new, or the guys from Flipkart and so on and so forth. But here we are seeing something different. We are seeing a shorter patience span, maybe from founders who are not really liking where they're going, whether it's successful or not successful. Now I know Mayank Kumar from Upgrad, and the guy who's left Upgrad and started something new, and it's quite likely that, knowing Mayank, it is quite possible that he's planned this for a while and he's done it in a very systematic and methodical way, and he's taken his co-founder Ronnie Screwvala in this case quite much into confidence, unless and until there's something that I don't know about. I think it would be a very planned exit. It would be something which was on his mind, and it was something that was scratching his new itch. Now here's the thing: Mayank has been a founder for a long time with Upgrad, right? And when I met him in 2017 or so, he had just started Upgrad, but this has been quite a long run, and he's achieved a lot of success with Upgrad. On the other hand, what I feel is these glam. What did you say? What was the name again?
Good Glam company. It is an
Good glam.
influencer marketing platform. Yeah.
Good grief. Okay, so so the thing is that it's quite likely that these companies have founders who have gotten into it with some intentions which were perhaps coming from a different set of metrics. Now, it's quite likely that these metrics had been connected to an original set of plans which didn't work out, and maybe they weren't in it for the long run in any case. So it's quite likely that they saw that it's not really working out, and they quit, and then they moved ahead. And there are a lot of these so-called serial entrepreneurs who move from one place to the other, but unless and until they're achieving something with their first venture, they will be taken less seriously for the next venture. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, that should be the case. But I think these founders whose first startup did not work out very well, they're finding it quite easy to get investments in the second rounds or second ideas. Maybe it's because, failure teaches you what not to do. So, and these are the founders that didn't just quit a company when it was just starting off. They put a pause to it once it had already reached a certain, benchmark. So the investors know that this person has the capability. Maybe the idea didn't work out, the market was like that, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe
No,
there's a lot of info.
no, I think now that you say this, maybe there is something else at play over here. And it's quite likely that VCs or investors are realizing that founders are very good at the starting phases of a company.
Hmm.
And then suddenly, what tends to happen is that they get kind of antsy, the investors, I mean, because they're saying that, okay, they're not able to really put down systems and processes and scale it up beyond a point. And I think that this is where your founders are found wanting, right? So they're getting replaced by existing CEOs. But perhaps the wiser investors are realizing that these guys, if they have an idea, it's quite likely that they will build a new idea again back to a certain place, and then maybe again it will be time for them to exit. I think it's a lot to do with timing and the product life cycle.
Yeah, most probably yes. You have a very good point there. But one thing that I don't understand, honestly, earlier whatever companies that you saw, right? You saw a Reliance, you saw a Tata. These were the companies who opened versatile kind of businesses in the same
Yes.
under the same umbrella company. Like
Yes.
oil has absolutely nothing to do with the food chain or your digital, right? But and all of these businesses are thriving. So these are the founders that did not depend on the investor backing, or if you look at companies like Swiggy, Zomato, rather than depend on the investors a lot, they went into the IPO route, the retail investor side of things.
Yes.
And these are the companies that are still thriving. I can't see Dipinder Goyal just saying, okay, I'm done with Zomato and now I'm opening a toy company.
Yeah.
So
So, but let me ask you a counter question in return. If you're good glam, would you be what is the adjacent company that you would start?
okay, it could be a maybe a fashion brand, for example, because I
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
But if I was opening a fashion brand, right, with the Good Glam company, I would not shut off the Good Glam company. I would leverage the equity it has already built as a brand. I would take the same resources of influencers that I have built as a part of my influencer marketing platform, and would use them to market my own brand. So the equity transfer is somehow not happening today.
I understand, but this is what under the radar. It's quite likely that people carrying along with them a set of influence, a set of learnings, a set of assets, and some money along with them, and they might be putting their own money in the new venture and stuff like that, which is quite likely that all of these things are under the radar and we don't see that. So it's quite
Hmm.
possible that that's the reason why they are not doing too many adjacent things, but they're saying, hey, you know what, I got this is the idea, I'll push all these things into the new idea and we can make it work. How about it? And I can see that. I knew a student of mine who had become a founder on a fast food chain, fish selling fish fries and all of that, selling fast food chain. His next
Okay.
one was in waste management. So I have no idea. I mean, if I see the connect, but I knew that he is a connector and he's somebody who's very well networked and he has the ability, he has the gift of the gab. So he has the ability to put all these three things together and convince a new set of investors, or maybe even the existing set of investors, saying, hey, okay, guys, this hasn't worked out really well, but this is what I want to plan. And what tends to happen is that because humans being humans, we tend to form relationships which go beyond the deal,
Right.
right? And eventually you want to trust the devil that you know rather than a devil that you don't know, maybe.
That's
And that also might come in play. So I see a lot of human factors coming into this rash of founders quitting and starting something completely unrelated and new, especially if they have failed.
hmm.
Would you agree with that?
That's a very good thought. Yeah, when it comes to business, we somehow tend to rationalize everything, but
Ah,
there, yeah,
yeah.
there's a human factor that we actually even I didn't take into account, to be very honest.
Yeah, no, there's so many times you're fighting with co-founders, you're fighting with existing investors. One of the investors wants to get off, and he says, "I'll back you."
Yeah,
The other guy has some hidden leverage that we have no idea
the
about, and
synergies
so on and
don't
so forth.
match, the things don't work out.
What I'd be really interested in knowing is how many of these founders actually end up succeeding
Mm.
with their next venture, with these new investors. But for that, only time will tell, and maybe we'll do a new episode of LinkedIn and YouTube live as we are doing right now. Janvi, what do you say? We have already bored people for 10.26, 27, 28 seconds and counting. So maybe we should stop while we're ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Let's wait for some numbers to come in, then we'll bore you again.
All right then. Bye from Pune and Ayodhya.
Right.